Greetings, fellow YouTuber. My name is Tim. Greetings, fellow YouTuber. My name is Tim. Welcome once again, or for the first time, depending upon the way you look at things. This is that steaming pile of dung we like to call GainerWorld Live. My name is Tim Gainer. Thank you so much for joining me. First show of 2023, and boy, aren't we glad that last year is gone. My God. Man, you want to talk about a... Let's just call it what it is. It was a flaming dumpster fire. Not a very good year, but yeah, glad it's over. Did everybody have a great holiday? Did you? Huh? Hope you did. Would want to hear about it. That's one of the things that we're going to be talking about tonight in our little chat box. Now, if you're new to our show, first off, welcome. We'd love to hear from you. Secondly, if you look over here, this is the chat box. If you're watching live right now, you don't need to strain your neck and just, head over to the right every time, okay? You don't need to do that. No. We have it right here on the screen for you. It's right there. And you can watch the chat in real time. Now, if you're watching the replay, obviously there is no thing over on the right, so we brought it to you. And if you want, you can comment. You can comment down in the comments below. We will answer you. Don't know when, don't know where, if I can quote Vera Lynn for just a minute. And yeah, we'll be more than glad to talk to you. And you can talk to everybody in the chat. You can ask any questions. You can say hi. Tell us where you're from. We love to hear from you. Man, what a year! What a year! Had a really nice pardon me. Had a really nice Christmas. It was quiet. Spent some time with my boys, which is always a lot of fun, talking about wrestling and music and all sorts of good fun stuff. So had that happening as well. And as far as the new year went, well, I don't like going out for amateur night. Yes, New Year's Eve is amateur night. Make no mistake about it. Anybody, you'd be surprised how many people I've known in my life, present company included, that don't drink. They don't get high. They don't do any of that stuff. But for some reason, because of whatever reason, they just feel socially inclined to just make fools of themselves and just get, just become a buck 380. And we've all become a buck 380 in our lifetime. I know I have. I mean, I lived through the 60s and 70s. Come on. But anyway, so yeah, I don't go out for amateur night. I really don't. New Year's, St. Patrick's Day, being here in the great city of Chicago. We have the Southside Irish Parade every year, and everybody, well, they don't do it anymore, but the pardon me. The route used to be down Western Avenue, which is one of the main thoroughfares in the city. And the thoroughfare that they would go down in the old days for the Southside Irish Parade was between 103rd Street and 115th Street, or even 119th Street. And that's where all the bars are. The bars start at 103rd Street. And it got to be a tradition for many a Southsider on St. Patrick's Day, where you would have to do the St. Patrick's, the Southside Irish Crawl. And what that consists of is starting at the first bar at 103rd Street and having at least a beer or a shot or every drink thereof until you got to the end of the line, which was at 119th Street. At which point, yeah, and even if you look here, our occasional guest co-host Chris King has chimed in, and he said most of the drunks didn't make it all the way. Yeah, but there were a lot of people trying. Boy, oh boy, I tell you what. And in my youth, yeah, I'll admit, I tried it. I was underage, but on St. Patrick's Day, Southside Irish, did it matter? No. So you'd start at 103rd Street. I got maybe as far as 107th, at all of 18. But, yeah, so I don't go out during that time. I don't go out for St. Patrick's Day. I don't go out for New Year's Eve, and no, because amateur night. Don't want it. Won't have it. Have nothing to do with it. So don't worry about me. I'm just fine. Thank you very much. But yeah, so what did you do over the holidays? Let me know. Talk to me in the chat here. I'm more than glad to talk to everybody. Let's start the usual thing. What was your best Christmas present? What was your worst Christmas present? Did you get something that you just looked at and you went down and you went, oh yeah, how nice. We all get one of those in our lifetime. And this is the forum to air that. I mean, why not? I say, why not? Best Christmas present, we can talk about that too. The one that you never thought you'd ever get. And like a little kid, you had that great big box sitting under the tree. And it turned out just to be the coolest thing in the whole world. We can talk about that. What'd you do for New Year's? Did you go out with friends? Did you stay home? How many stayed home? Seriously, I'm not ashamed to tell people I stay home on New Year's Eve. I'll sit there and I will I'll sit there and I'll watch the ball drop, and I'll watch Billie Eilish and all them, singing. Don't matter to me. Chris is saying best, peace and quiet. Worst, letter from the... Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure it wasn't a friendly Christmas card, was it? Are they ever? So, yeah. No, I didn't get one of those this year, and boy, oh boy. Knock wood. Won't be getting many of those in the future. But yeah, let us know. Talk to us in the chat. What was the best Christmas present you got this year? What was the worst Christmas present? Did you get one that you just looked at and just went, oh God, how much? You got to write a thank you card for this. And everybody gets one. At least once in their life, everybody gets one. I'm not saying you got it this year, but if you got one, let me know. One of the things I did want to talk about, there's really not a lot of show prep tonight because tonight being the first news show of 2023, it was kind of like getting back into the swing of things. We'd been off for a few months, or for a few weeks rather. It felt like a few months. Just kind of hanging out and having fun. And I got back, I started working on the show today and went, okay, how does this work again? How do I do this? Yeah. So kind of slow cooking tonight. But I do have a couple things to talk about, but mainly it's going to be a catch-up session between the two of us. Chris is saying, checking the tote board, Chris is saying it was innocuous. I forgot to change my address and a debit card went to the other address. So she had to send it to me. I just didn't like being reminded. Yeah, I can respect that. Yep. Had a couple of exes' names come up during the holidays. And I'm like, did you have to mention that name? But yeah, hey. That was then, and this is now. That's what I'm talking about. Like I said, there's only a couple things to talk about tonight. And I guess we could jump into one of them. to kind of see, kind of check the, kind of check the temp of things. And, Chris, I'm glad that you're here tonight because this is right up your alley, and I really wish you were in studio because this would be a great conversation to have. Rolling Stone. Before I go anyplace, there is one thing that I do have to mention, and I'd be remiss if I didn't. Right after we get done doing this here, this little piece of bandwidth, please rush quick like a bunny over to hugs@wrgg.com, hugsatwrgg.com. That's where Hugs 24/7 Radio resides, where Cyrus Gray will be putting on the top 10 countdown. This is a countdown of the top 10 unsigned independent artists from around the world. They submit their music to us. We do have an active chart, an active Hugs Top 200 chart. And Cyrus runs down the top 10 of that. This is going on right after our show, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. Go check it out. Hugs 24/7 Radio, hugs@wrgg.com, hugsatwrgg.com. Starts at 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. Cyrus Gray, the top 10 countdown. Now, speaking of lists, pardon me. Don't know why. Pardon me just a second. I feel like I swallowed a Buick. Hold on. Me, my, mo. Okay, there we go. Okay. On New Year's Day, Rolling Stone magazine put out one of their lists. Now we've talked about their list before on this show, where they talked about when we've run down like their listing of the top 10 greatest guitarists, top 10 greatest rock groups, top 10 greatest prog groups, whatever the case may be. And in 2008, they ran down a list of 100 greatest singers of all time, and they have revamped that. So they now have the top 200 greatest singers of all time. Now, give you an idea of what the criteria of this was all about. They wrote in their article, which is available online and in print right now, by the way. Pardon me. This is what they wrote. This is what they are writing. Keep in mind that this is a greatest singers list, not the greatest voices list. There's a difference. This again, according to Rolling Stone, this is a quote. Talent is impressive. Genius is transcendent. Sure, many of the people who were born with massive pipes, perfect pitch, and boundless range, others have rougher, stranger, or more delicate instruments. As our write-up for the man who ended up at number 112 notes, again, quote, Ozzy Osbourne doesn't have what most people would call a good voice, but boy, does he have a great one. I understand that. I understand that completely, having worked with one of the more unique singers in the history of rock and roll, Garrett Hoke of Bullfrog. He didn't have a great voice, but boy, he had a uniquely distinct voice. So, yeah, so that they, according to them, a few people ended up on that list. Now, I'm not going to go through all 200, obviously, for two reasons. Number one is the fact that there's 200 of them, and you don't want me to be reading like that. And number two, it gets really obnoxious after a while. But I do have the top 10. If you want to know about your favorite singer, I do have a copy of the list on my left side, my left, your right. And I'll be glad to check it out for you and let you know where they placed. Or you can just go online and find out yourself. But according to Rolling Stone, and again, this was released just Sunday, the top 10 greatest singers of all time, according to Rolling Stone, are number 10, Al Green. Now again, this is not my list. This is according to Rolling Stone. Number 10 is Al Green. Number 9, Otis Redding. Number 8, Beyonce. Number 7 of the top 10 greatest singers of all time, according to Rolling Stone magazine. Number 7, Stevie Wonder. Number 6 greatest singer of all time, Ray Charles. Number 5, Mariah Carey. I'm beginning to see a pattern here. Number 4 on the top 10 list of greatest singers, according to Rolling Stone. Number 4, Billie Holiday. Number 3, Sam Cooke. The number 2 singer, the number 2 greatest singer of all time, according to Rolling Stone, Whitney Houston. And the number 1 greatest singer of all time, out of the top 200 list compiled by Rolling Stone magazine, the number 1 greatest singer of all time, Aretha Franklin. Now, I got to admit, a lot of this list I agree with. Amu City Games just popped in and went, number 6, didn't see that coming. Yeah, I know, Ray Charles. But again, you know, if you were with us in the beginning of that, they're like, these aren't greatest voices, these are greatest singers. Where it was kind of like innovation and style and soul and things of that nature. Yeah, there's a lot of people that were on this list. A few people that weren't on the list that I found out. Pardon me. Dionne Warwick wasn't on the list. Diana Ross, not on the list. Sting, not on the list. So, yeah. Now Dionne was on the list this year, although in 2008 in the original list he wasn't on it. But yeah, and that's fine. Yeah, Chris said I saw this coming. Yeah, okay, so you saw Aretha coming. I don't know, man. I don't know. I had a different idea. All of them had feeling. Warwick and Ross were just too flat. Dionne Warwick, yeah, I can kind of see that. Diana, she could have been on the lower echelon. But again, let's call it what it is. Would she have made it in the business if had it not been for Berry Gordy? You know? So I see that. I'll tell you one other person. Nothing really moving about any of them. Yeah, perhaps. I'll tell you one person who wasn't on the list and has caused a little tiny touch of a stir as a result of this. One person that wasn't on the list, but the top 10 were expected. Yeah, but see, again, I would have gone with other people. Like, for example, and I've got the list in front of me. I would have gone for people, say, for example, like Frank Sinatra was at number 19. I would have put him in the top 10. Elvis was at 17. And, you know, he was a little monotone, but yeah, he was still innovative in his way. Freddie Mercury was number 14. You know, come on. Freddie, dude. He had a range. That boy had a range. You know, Marvin Gaye was at 20. Really? You know, so I mean, there's some I agree with, some not so much. Elvis deserved to be there. Yeah, I do. I agree with that. Elvis totally deserved to be there. You know, and Freddie too. You know, come on. But one person that was not on the list, and boy, oh boy, are people miffed about this. Of course, I'm talking about the greatest singer in the world, Celine Dion. Celine Dion was not on Rolling Stone's top 200 singers of all time. And boy, are people miffed. This, according to Rolling Stone, who were literally on the scene. So fans of Celine gathered outside the offices of Rolling Stone today to protest her exclusion from the 200 greatest singers list. There was a small but vociferous cadre of Deline devotees who sang and shouted and held signs like, "How could you forget Celine? The power of Celine. Justice for Celine. Celine is no longer by herself. And I drove all night to be here." Which, of course, is, if you ask me, that's the most important one. But according to Rolling Stone, I get their favorite, according to this article, was Rolling Stone is stoned. But this was my favorite. "Rolling Stone, you've hit an iceberg." So the protest was appeared to be organized by a group of fans of Celine who call themselves the Redhead. Don't ask me why. There's videos of them preparing posters appearing on the Instagram fan account, Celine Dion Addicts Official. That's an actual Instagram account. Look it up if you really want to have some fun or if you have all kinds of time to kill. The group's founder, Line Basbos, was present and said that most of the group traveled from Canada to express themselves in the name of Celine. "Obviously," Babos told Rolling Stone's Hannah Woldenberg, "obviously you have made a big mistake for getting her name on the big list you published last week. Eh? We want to make sure that you understand that you missed the best singer in the world. She should be the first name on your list." Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, she's good, but I would see her in the top 20. I would see her in the top 20. She also featured in the videos was the French-Canadian broadcaster Julie Snyder, who appeared outside of Rolling Stone's offices holding a microphone for her own television show and trying to turn the interview on Stone reporters, which kind of makes you wonder if maybe Julie didn't have something to do with this. Not saying. Just saying. We were all in the business, Julie. We all know what it takes. See, Julie said she's won Oscar, Grammy, American Music Awards, along with mentioning some of her famous performances like the Atlanta Olympics in '96, the Tribute to Heroes show. "You forgot her. You're stoned, guys. It's okay." Well, apparently it's not okay, Julie, because you're sitting there organizing people to come down from Canada to do this. Wollenberg also asked Snyder about the choice to stage this protest on January 6th. Yeah, I'm not even going to get into that. I'm going to gloss over that. I'm going to gloss over that paragraph right here and now. Another protester entered the building, asked to speak to RS's Rolling Stone's editor-in-chief Noah Sackman in an attempt to give him a DVD of Celine's greatest moments. Oh, man. What the protesters were hoping for, Julie just said, "We hope that Rolling Stone will admit they made a mistake by glossing over the greatest singer in the world." Yeah. So apparently people are very miffed about the fact that The fact that Celine Dion did not make Rolling Stone's 200 greatest singers of all time, I personally could care less. She's good. She has range. She's been at it all her life. But really, and even Chris is saying in the comments, let's look at this for a minute. Even you have to remember best singer means that they had their own mostly non-commercial sound. Yeah, exactly. They're not saying best voice. They're saying best singer. And Celine she's got a very distinct style, but is it up there with the likes of Freddie Mercury and Beyonce? The quick answer is no. The Incredible Edibles popped in to say, yo, Chad, Tim, Chad and I popping in for a few at a gig. Wow, way to go, Garrett. Thanks so much for doing that. Taking time out of the gig to say hello. Certainly do appreciate that. We're waiting on the truck to load in equipment. Oh, well, an on-the-scene, behind-the-scenes situation from our very own Gary Hicker and Chad Andres of the Incredible Edibles Band, ladies and gentlemen. You don't get hard-hitting journalism like that anywhere else on the internet. But right here. Chris also saying about the 200 singers. Celine sounds like she matches perfectly with Muzak backing tracks. Well, that's because that's what she is. Let's call a spade here. Don't. Just stop, okay? No, really, let's call it what it is. Mainly what she is mostly MOR material. Yeah, has she had a bunch of top 10 hits? Yes. Are they mostly on the adult contemporary list? Yes. I can count on one hand the number of actual pop hits she has actually had. Okay? The theme from Titanic, Power of Love, and That's the Way It Is. That's it. Anything past that has been an AC hit for her. And Amu City apparently is looking at the list with us here and is all over the board on this. So, yeah, I guess we're going to get into this live on air, ladies and gentlemen. Amu City, yes. Glenn Danzig was 199, yes. Rosalita was number 200 to anybody who cares. Billie Eilish was 198, yeah. Axl Rose at 134. Really, not feeling that one. Yeah, I don't know, man. Axl is, no, don't be sorry, man. Don't be sorry at all. I mean, hey, we're into hard-hitting journalism on this show. You know it. Now, like I said, I've got the list in front of me as well. Axl, is he innovative? Yeah, but only to a point. Could he growl during Live and Let Die? Yeah. It was great. Love Mr. Brownstone. But what else you got? Seriously. Even when it came to ballads, he sounded, in the cold November rain. Come on. But yeah, there's a lot of these that I don't agree with, to be really honest with you. Patsy Cline at number 13. Should have been a little higher. Is she number one? No, not by a long shot. But she had a very, very distinct style to her. I don't agree. I don't agree with Sinatra at 19 because basically he is the guy. He is the guy that, for all intents and purposes, brought pop music to the fore. Let's call it. He had to be doing something right. Adele at 22, could have been in the high teens. And then you get into some that I really, really wonder about, like Smokey Robinson. Could have been higher on the list. There are some names here that I really, really do agree with that should be on the list. People like Louis Armstrong. Louis Armstrong's on the list. Robin Newman has popped in. Hey, Robin, how you doing? Always appreciate you stopping by, my man. Thank you very much for that. NBC is saying about Axl Rose. Sounds like he gargled Drano and needed a lozenge. Yeah, pretty much. NBC, I would place Ronnie Spector higher than 74. Yeah, I got to put you there. I would definitely do that as well. John Lennon was at 13, I think. I'm looking at my personal favorites. John Lennon was at number 12. Paul McCartney was at 26. But yeah, you've got, people like Etta James at 41. I mean, really? I don't know, man. I mean, there's just some of these that just, Kate Bush, number 60. Now, granted, not that many people know Kate Bush, although she is, coming a little more to the fore, thanks to, the games thing. But yeah, no, she was completely unique. And I don't know about that one. Bjork at 64, okay. Minnie Riperton at 65. Dude, Minnie Riperton, come on. Come on, guys. At least put her in the top 20. There'd be no Mariah Carey if it wasn't for Minnie Riperton. And I'll take that to my grave with me. Just so many good people that are on this list. Roy Orbison at 71. Dude, I don't care what you tell me. Roy Orbison was one of the purest singers in rock and roll. And he could deliver like nobody's business. I mean, literally nobody's business. Ronnie Spector, yeah, I got to go with that one. Yeah. I would place Ronnie Spector higher than 74. I don't think she was at 74, was she? I've got her at 70, pal. Oh, okay, that was a typo. Okay, sorry about that. Chris is saying Minnie was a one-trick pony. Dude. 2 words that are going to change your life. Rotary Connection. Check out anything that they did before she went solo. And then tell me she was a one-trick pony. Sean Adam Williams has popped in, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Friday, dropping my new single, Underdog. Always good to know. Thank you for letting us know, Sean. It's all about me. Yes, it is, Sean. It's all about you, isn't it? It's all about you. Throughout my accomplishments throughout last year, available now. Okay, no problem. Chris wanting to know, where was Ann Wilson? Let's find out. I don't even know that she was on here. Anita Baker at 92. Wow. Don't see anything about Ann Wilson. I see Jackie Wilson, which is 121. Lauren Hill's at 136. Luciano was at 143. I know you guys were worried about that one. I don't know. I really don't know. You know what? She didn't make the list. I do not see Ann Wilson on this list, which I find surprising, but not surprising. Because, again, one of the things that they said in the article was that they weren't looking for the greatest voices. They were looking for the greatest singers. And people who had that very distinct style. And, don't see her on the list. Yusu Endure was at 69. No, Chris, I'm telling you, pal. I'm telling you, Ann Wilson is not to be seen, at least the way I'm looking at it. Chris Cornell was at number 80. Amy Winehouse is at 83, I think. Yeah, 83. Michael was at 86, which again is kind of weird. Michael Jackson at 86? Well, and again, yeah, he was kind of homogenized in his way. I mean, you could pick his voice out in a crowd anywhere, but did he really do anything that he could growl when he needed to, but that was about it. So yeah, I can see that. Leonard Cohen at 103, Eddie Vedder at number 105. Yeah, Erykah Badu. Number 115. Robert Johnson was at 124. Figure that one out. Wow. They have Robert Johnson, but they don't have Ann Wilson? Really? What's that all about? Bono was 140. Barbra Streisand was 147. Michael Stipe, 152. Yes, and see, and there's people on here that shouldn't even be. Carrie Underwood, 158. Why? Why? That's where you should have Ann Wilson. You know? Found a searchable list and Ann Wilson is not present. Yeah, that's what I'm finding out too, Mike. That's what I'm finding out too. You know, a lot of good people that are really far down the list. Some people that shouldn't even be on here. Chris Stapleton? Why? What? You know, Tennessee Whiskey. What else you got? You know, Iggy Pop at 176. Bob Seger at 181. Alicia Keys at 185. Now, see, there's somebody that should be up there, too. Alicia Keys. Just an amazing voice. Kelly Clarkson, 194. Yeah, way down there. So, yeah, that's Joan Baez, 189. Yeah, well, look, I hated Joan Baez's voice. I'm sorry. I cannot listen to anything. As great a writer as she is, as socially conscious as she is, to me, Joan Baez is the fingernails on the blackboard. I cannot stand. I would rather listen to Kate Bush's first 2 albums on a loop for 3 days than to have to listen to a single sitting of a Joan Baez album. That's how much I detest Joan Baez's voice. I cannot listen to her. Just saying. So yeah, so that's the list. You know, if you have a thing about this, let me know. We'll be more than glad to talk about it. If you're watching the replay, leave your comments down below. We'll be more than glad to talk to you about that there. And in the meantime, while I get my act together here. Yeah, I told you I forgot how to do this completely. I forgot how to do this completely. Would you rather listen? Okay, Amy City comes up with a very serious question that I have a very serious answer to. Would you rather listen to Joan Baez or Yoko's solo work? It depends upon what era you're talking about. Now, if you're talking about the experimental stuff that she did with John, like during the Wedding album or, you know, Life with the Lions or something like that, yeah, that's a rough listen. And I do have those albums, by the way. I have 2 Virgins. I have Life with the Lions. I used to have the Wedding album. I don't have it anymore, and I wish I had it. But I also have a copy of Seasons of Glass, which was the first album that she made after John was killed. And I gotta tell you, it's a really good album. If nothing else, it pulls on your heartstrings because you realize the history behind it. But, you know, songs like Goodbye Sadness, you know, and even, you know, even the stuff that she did on Double Fantasy, the stuff she did on Double Fantasy and Milk and Honey were great tracks. They were great tracks. Every Man Has a Woman Who Loves Her, Walking on Thin Ice. What was some of the other tracks that were on that album? I'm Your Angel. Her later stuff is really good. Her later stuff, when she started getting out of the whole Primal Scream thing, was terrific. But can I sit through Approximately Infinite Universe? No, hell no. Mm-mm. It's a rough listen, dude. I don't mind telling you. Fly, I've never heard. Yeah. But, so the quick answer to your question, Amu City, is given the choice between Joan Baez and Yoko, I can stomach Yoko. But I dare you I dare you, if you really want something that's going to get you to start chewing on glass and poking your inner ear out with a sewing needle, on Woodstock, I don't think it's the album. I'm pretty sure it's on the film. It's definitely the film. When she sings "Swing Low, Sweet Chariot," it's like, dear God Almighty. There was only one bad trip in Woodstock? Oh, no. Because the minute she hit those notes, whew, you want to talk about a bunch of dudes seeing trails? Yeah. Give me Yoko any day. At least I understand what the hell's going on there. So in any case, while we're doing that, this is the new year. This is the new year. And, when you have the new year, when you go into a new year, a lot of people reflect, they look back, ring out the old, ring in the new. And I started doing that. You got a serious point with Swing Low. I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you, go ahead. Do a cup, do like half a pan of brownies and then sit down and watch that and tell me how that works for you. As we look back, I decided to take a very introspective look at the past on New Year's. And I realized that, being, doing the YouTube thing and being in radio and being in music and everything like that, well, one of the things that really has changed and evolved over the course of the last 100 years or so is that in the world of advertising. And I say that because of the following advertisements that I was able to pull up. And tell me if we can get away with stuff like this today. Like, for example, straight off the top, this is an ad for a tie from 1951. You wanted to claim your power. You wanted to claim your manliness. Then what do you need? You need the right tie, right? Huh? Yeah. That touches on the subconscious, doesn't it? Of course, then again, there was this one from 1952. She doesn't care. Ladies, now you can stop stressing all over your clothing with the brand new, innovative, wrinkle-free, water-resistant fabric that'll fool everyone that's never been worn. Uh-huh. You need to lie in bed with a button-up shirt and a tie? Yeah, that's right, you do, buddy. That's right. Well, the wife brings you some chicken. And we move on to this little classic from 1958. If men hate the sight of you, read this. Yes, who would know back then that ironized yeast could help you attract more male attention, huh? Huh? Skinny girls? No. You need to gain about 10, 20 pounds for us to take a look at you. How many girls can identify with this today? I don't think so. Yeah. Now, I'm sitting in front of me right now. I have to. I can relate to this. I don't necessarily identify with this, okay? But the only reason that I came back on camera is to let you know I am sipping a cup of coffee right now. A lovely French roast coffee, which is one of the things that I need to do when I'm on the show. But ladies, if your husband finds out that you're not store testing your coffee, well, don't say we didn't warn you. Yeah, the good folks at Chase and Sanborn back in 1950 wanted to let people know that hubby's going to be really upset if the coffee's not fresh. Yeah, of course we deal with things a little bit differently these days. Or do we? Yes, it was a simpler time. A more wholesome time. A time we like to call 1953. When Honey was outside begging, "Please, Dave, please don't let me be locked out from you." Because she has neglected her feminine hygiene by not using Lysol. Come on. Okay, since when did Lysol help with a woman's stuff? Apparently, back in 53, Lysol said they did a whole lot more than just keep the home clean and shiny. They apparently offered marital advice to women, reminding them to keep clean for their husband's sake as well. Okay. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Chris jumps in and says, I still do that. MU City's saying, I know several women who would deliberately not check the coffee. Yeah, same. Chris says same. I say same. They just grab it and go, nope, Nope. There's a fine line that we all have to draw. I'm just saying. Speaking of drawing lines, soldiers need our help. Turns out you gals are useful after all. This is from 1945. From the United States Department of Defense. Doodle-dum-da-dum. And they wanted the gals to pitch in. You know, so they wanted you to be part of the war effort, which means that you're useful. That's right. Does anybody remember what the major role that they played during the big one? Anybody? And this next one, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be able to relate to because, we're all about body image these days a lot more intensely than we used to be. And that's why, nobody wants to be flat and not pretty. A person who's very flat-chested is very hard to be a 10. Does that sound like something a former president would say? Just throwing it out there. And of course, there's this one. Photo op kissing sailors coming home. Yeah, I hear you. You got to do what you got to do, This one from 1930 always struck me. I've seen this one before, and this always struck me as being just kind of silly. From 1930, husband telling his wife, so the harder a wife works, the cuter she looks. Because apparently this ad is for a vitamin company and is claiming that a daily vitamin will give the woman the pep in her step. Otherwise, she may get tired and decide to take a rest. And we all know how unacceptable that can be, right? Right? Huh? Don't shoot the messenger. These are just ads that I found which show how far we have progressed, lo these many years. Like this one from 1972 from Weavenberg Massagic Shoes. This was an ad for Hush Puppies. If you're as old as I am, everybody remembers Hush Puppy shoes. But this ad... Who approved this one? Keep her where she belongs. In a shoe? Laying naked next to a shoe? I'm not. I don't know. I don't know. Here's a nice catchy little ad from 1947. Put a rocket in your pocket. Woman riding a pen. Don't know what that has to do with reality, but hey, somebody was thinking outside the box, so that's okay with me. Here's another one from 1947 that you'll really This one isn't weird. It just makes you uncomfortable, okay? The best thing in life come in cellophane. Everything, even the baby, comes in cellophane. Oh, man. MU City saying cocaine's a hell of a drug. The only explanation for some of these ads. Yeah, it was legal back then. Yeah, please, a public service announcement. Please don't wrap the baby in cellophane. Okay? Just throwing it out there. Little thing from me to you. Now, here's one from 1977 that I find... Chris, pocket rocket. I know, dude. I know. This is one from 1977 that I'm real confused about. I'm really confused, okay? Stacked for convenience. The cellophane ad. Chris is saying, Junior's favorite toy. Back to this one. Okay. So stacked for convenience. Now, we all understand that this is for the microwave and the oven, and it's stacked and all that. And of course, we can make the jokes about the woman that's in the picture at the same time. What I have a hard time with is the male who is in this commercial. If you are a fan of old-time TV, or even older movies for that matter, you will know that the person in this picture is the late, great Richard Deacon. You might remember him from his role as Mel Cooley in the Dick Van Dyke Show. He was also in the, what movie was it? I don't want to say Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. He was in. And I have a hard time with him ogling this girl because, according to Hollywood lore, Richard Deacon was gay AF. You tell me. Another one from 1963. This one was from Pepsi when they owned 7-Up. And they tried to create this campaign that 7-Up was an energy drink. So they came up with this. Need an alley-oop? Yeah. Get a lift. Basically, all it was they came out with a new formula for 7-Up, but all it meant was that there was just more sugar in it. But I guess, they're making a reference to bowling, which I guess was a good idea. But, yeah, an energy drink? Nah, I don't think so. I really don't think so. Got time for a couple more. So, Del Monte ketchup, back in 1953. This is simplicity personified. This is to let them know that Del Monte ketchup was so easy to open. You mean even a woman can open it? I dare you to say that these days. Checking it this way. Chris King talking about Richard Deacon. Neil Patrick Harris plays a convincing womanizing playboy. Yeah, I know, but that's Neil Patrick Harris. Okay? We know about Neil Patrick Harris. We know it's comedy. Okay? Richard Deacon is trying to look like a playboy. It doesn't work. Okay? It just doesn't work. In the 70s, there was a strong belief in society that served the purpose for this particular advertisement. You mean this is a computer? You can hear Carol Wayne in this, voicing this commercial, okay? The dumb blonde stereotype, you know? Yeah, that's how you sell them in the 70s. Yes, buddy. So, and here's another one. This one cracks me up. I love this. This one is in the 1950 for Lucky Tiger Hair Balm or Lucky Tiger Hair Wax. Because Lucky Tiger Hair Wax gets you everything you could possibly want. Even your trophy wife. Just throw on some Lucky Tiger and pick any woman you want. Because, yeah, that's completely realistic. Oh, man. This one. Now, keep in mind, this is one from the 1950s. And I'm just gonna put the ad up here. It has bits of real tiger out here. It's got a real bite to it, if you know what I'm talking about. Makes you a real pussycat, if you know what I mean. Now, this is from the 1950s. This is an advertisement for Jensen Swimwear. I'm just going to put this ad up here. I'm going to let you read it for about 5-10 seconds, and let's discuss. Ladies, get you some Jensen Swimwear for your man and do it as quickly as possible. Otherwise, there's going to be a whole new meaning to bowling night, if you know what I'm talking about. Now, we all talk about body shaping and body shaming and things like that. 60% of the time it works, 100% of the time, Lucky Tiger. Now with bits of real tiger. There you go. We've all heard about sun lamps. We've all heard they can be good or not good. Last one, the DuPont Healthy Tan Sun Lamp. Can't burn. Sleep under it. That's right. Get under it. Sleep there all day. Even bring the baby. Are you kidding me? Oh, man. Yeah. Oh, well, that's going to do it from here, I think. That's enough for one day, I believe. Let's do this. Let's get on out of here. Thank you so much. Again, don't forget, coming up at 9 o'clock, top of the hour, is the Hugs Top 10 Countdown with Cyrus Gray. Hugs 24/7 Radio, HUGSATWRGG.com. The top 10 independent unsigned artists from around the world. We're going to be counting them down. That is to say, Cyrus Gray is going to be counting them down. Thank you so much for joining me. I certainly do appreciate it. Hey, do me a favor. We're in 2023. Let's really get the subscriber count up. Why? Because my ego needs it. Like, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff. In other words, if you like it, hey, you know what to do. We'll see you next week. We out. Bye.